Is the Lord, whom the people of the Old Testament followed, different from the Lord whom Christians follow? If the early church saints had said yes to this question, would it have been possible for Jews and Gentiles to become united in Christ? It would not have been possible. Believers in the Old Testament called their God the Lord for more than 1,000 years. When Moses encountered him in the burning bush, he introduced himself as, "I am who I am," and later, when he spoke through other prophets, he declared, "I am he." When Jesus came and declared, "I am he," the disciples were amazed to hear him use a phrase that only God used. Following his resurrection, they became fully convinced that he is indeed the Lord who has existed from ancient times. They recognized that Jesus is God and the Lord who has existed from the beginning, not the one who appeared for the first time in the world merely 2,000 years ago. Jesus, who sacrificed his everything for others and offered his life, looked like a failure. However, he has risen above all things to become the head of the church. It is God's will that those who belong to him become united. For unity among Christians, what they believe should be one. We believe in the doctrines approved by the Lord and passed down to us by the apostles, not in those arbitrarily created by individuals who disregard established doctrine. Paul was concerned about the distortion and corruption of the gospel over time. Therefore, he warned that anyone preaching a gospel different from the one received should be cursed. We should be cautious that the content of the Bible should not be misinterpreted or distorted by impure motives or careless ways that we have. Failing to preserve this, the unity of the church can be severely damaged. To be baptized is a public confession for those who have discovered the one Lord and one faith, pledging to live a new life united with the Lord. It is the decision to stop living a self-centered life and to start living a life of self-sacrifice, just as Christ did. Although such a life may seem foolish and disadvantageous in the eyes of the world, the sacrificial life is indeed the path of liberty that Christ has opened up for us. I too will sacrifice for the church and for my brothers and sisters, just as the Lord did. If all who are baptized understand and practice this declaration, the unity of the church as desired by the Lord will draw nearer to us. Christians walk the narrow path. They voluntarily obey, even when it contradicts their own desires. Such a life might be greatly uncomfortable, but this is not unhappiness. This is the path to fulfilling God's will, that all things be united in Christ, and it is also the path to completing our own salvation. If we all clearly understand the one Lord, one faith, and one baptism, the church cannot be divided. Let us resolve to offer our lives in accordance with the eternal faith bestowed upon us by the eternal Lord. Since the Lord has broken us away from sin and granted us liberty, let us walk the narrow path with eternal hope. By dedicating ourselves to the church, let us succeed in the life of faith shown by the Lord.